As we talked previously, there is an equation for wealth, and that is that wealth equals value times leverage. And we'll kick off the presentation of the 8 wealth profiles by identifying the two elements of the wealth equation and the polarities or opposing components of each. We'll start with a square matrix. The first element, value, runs north and south or up and down. The two opposite polarities to value creation are innovation and timing. While all value is created from the way we think, some are born with a high-frequency thinking or intuitive thinking. They come up with ideas and like to put them into action. Intuitive thinkers create value through innovation. You've often heard it said about people who are constantly tapping this high-frequency thinking that they are described as having their head in the clouds. They see the big picture, but often miss the details. They do not focus on what is present, but rather on what could be. Now, moving to the other end of value are the low-frequency or sensory thinkers. Sensory thinkers do not need to create anything new. Why? Because they have an innate sense of timing. In contrast, timers create value by having their ear to the ground. Sensory people are aware of their surroundings and enabling them to identify patterns and opportunities and pick up signals that intuitive thinkers simply miss. While intuitive thinkers always feel the need to push forward, sensory thinkers know that sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. They simply know when to act at the right time. Now let's move from the left to right on the wealth matrix and examine the two components of leverage. As you follow this continuum, leverage has the power to massively accelerate the money you make and the money you lose. Leverage simply ensures a multiple output for every input, whether positive or negative. We show the leverage continuum second because you first must find value and then you can leverage it. The two polarities of leverage are to multiply and to magnify, and they're related to the two opposites, introverted and extrovert. Introverts naturally internalize and analyze a course of action in comparison to extroverts who leverage by consulting with others. Introverts are process-oriented and leverage by multiplying. Introverts ask, how can this happen without me? They work on setting up systems and cling to make things as simple as possible. At the other end are the extroverts who are people-oriented, and they leverage by magnifying. They'll often ask the question, how can this only happen with me? Magnifiers make things as complex or unique as possible so that they become indispensable. This is not bad. This is just what it is. Now to sum up, introverts multiply leverage most effectively when in the background. And extroverts, they magnify where they are most comfortable, and that's out in front. Now let's go back and we'll take a look at the 8 wealth profiles. We'll start at the top, and that's with creators. See, creators cannot resist creating. In fact, their greatest creative breakthroughs are often after most others would have given up. Many creators do not make the best managers as they run faster than their teams and are often on the next venture before they have made money from their last one. Successful creators have delegated everything except the creative process itself, and they focus on creating new products or new companies while others take care of the day-to-day business. The first creator I'll show you is Walt Disney. Walt started out back at age 22, where he created a lucky rabbit called Oswald. Well, he lost that, but he then went on to create another, more famous mouse, Mickey. Another creator, Sir Richard Branson. He has a mega empire with Virgin Group. Started with Virgin Records and then Virgin Air. One of the most prolific inventors in history, Thomas Edison, is also a creator. He actually held 1,093 U.S. patents and 1,300 foreign patents in his lifetime. The next creator, Steve Jobs of Apple. He left Apple, came back, left, and came back again. He actually made $1 billion not once, not twice, but 3 different times. The final creator is the richest person in the world, and that, of course, is Bill Gates. Gates focuses on his greatest passion and contribution, which is innovation, and he leaves the day-to-day management of his company to others. The next profile we'll show are stars. Now, stars naturally are the easiest profiles to spot. After all, the value is in the person. Stars are very happy to be around other people and are quite comfortable being the center of attention. The star that I'll show you here as she bounces in is Martha Stewart. Martha built her brand through books, Kmart, and Time Warner. And that again is what a star is. A star is a brand in themselves. We had Martha bounce in because she did get out of her profile and bounced a little bit herself. The next profile is that of a supporter, and supporters are far from just what their name says. They are outgoing, loyal, reliable, and fantastic networkers. Their value is in the heat of the moment, in the relationships they create, and the wealth of energy, enthusiasm, and time they can offer. They are often the best leaders of company. While Microsoft was created by Bill Gates and his innovations, it is actually run successfully by the supporter role of Steve Ballmer. As going down the matrix, we run into our next profile, and that is of the deal maker. Deal makers are in their flow when they spot the differential in a deal, and that's when they take action. And who should we spotlight here for that? None other than Donald Trump. Sitting at the base of the wealth dynamic square are traders. Traders operate best through data research and can often make their money in front of a computer screen. Traders are sensory, reacting to events as they take place. Traders are constantly seeking uncertainty in their markets, and the greatest of these is George Soros, the man who broke the Bank of England. George believes that the less successful you are, the more you're going to have to work to correct the situation. If the portfolio is doing well, you have less work to do. See, every great trader has leveraged their trading record by attracting a team of great traders and outside funds through the time and money of others. In this way, traders have freed themselves up to direct the profits to their purpose. The accumulator is the safest of the profiles, relying on a stream of incremental growth to achieve wealth. Many wealth seekers adopt the accumulator strategy, but either lose patience or get itchy feet and move on. The natural accumulator becomes successful by patiently sticking it out. Accumulators don't need a lot of people to make a lot of money. They're happily hands-off, seeking out the next gem to add to their collection while the others grow in value with little more than an occasional polish. Heading up the accumulators is the second richest man in the world. And that's Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett takes his time doing his homework and then decides what to accumulate and leave it alone. He's often said at his company that he doesn't tell 400 hitters how to swing. Our next profile is what we call the Lord. Successful lords are seen and rarely heard until they emerge in control of an entire industry, and that's where they get their name. They're famous for cutting costs and finding efficiencies in their business. Lords live frugally, watching almost every penny. And they also look at the entrepreneurs and stars of the world, and in most cases believe they can never do what they do in the limelight, and would never want to either. One of the most famous lords is John D. Rockefeller. When he began buying up refineries in the 1800s, he didn't wine and dine them. If you refuse to sell to me, you'll simply end up being crushed. And because he knew his numbers, he was right. The final profile is that of the mechanic. The mechanic is a character who has the ability to control and manage many people without needing to demonstrate any charismatic leadership qualities. What they build tends to be built to last, and they're perfectionists. The mechanic will keep finding ways to improve his system, making things simple and smart. Our example of a mechanic is that of Sam Walton. Sam had an insatiable appetite for hands-on tinkering and testing. He first learned about systems by buying a Ben Franklin franchise, and this practice of learning through the systems of others is one of the fastest ways for mechanics to get started. Well, there you have it. The 8 profiles of wealth. Opposite nature, but all combining to create your path of least resistance to your wealth. So learn exactly what type of profile you are. Thanks for watching.